Now it says we're live.
All right. Well, Tio, I did hit the button twice, guys. Sorry about
Charles is in
that.
charge. This is what
But
happens.
I guess sometimes my clicker on my mouse does not click, and I obviously didn't notice it. So we're going to start all over again.
Chuck's
We're
got a worn out clicker.
yeah, yeah, a lot of checking stuff out. So yeah, I guess we're live. We're almost live. It still hasn't shown up. I should have noticed that nothing was happening over here. It says in
Good help
stream
is hard
now,
to
so we
find.
so we must be live. I don't know. Maybe it's just not. Let me reset mine over here and see if it goes
Thanks,
live.
John. Glad you noticed. So
So
I get to talk all about my solar panel that I can't use in the rain all over again.
yeah, I noticed that the first time we went through this, that has the same weather as I do. I was wondering if he was outside the house here,
Lousy,
but he's got
lousy
rain.
weather.
We got rain, which is the first rain we've had in a while. It was actually I was turning the sprinklers on because it was starting to dry out pretty good. But yeah, I think
So we
I
get to
thank
go through
everybody
all
for
the
joining
stuff
us.
all over again. Yeah, we get to talk about where Jim and Ape are. We get to talk about your mom again. We
Uh,
get to wish
or
Covain a happy birthday.
yeah. So yeah, Covain, happy birthday. We did mention that before. My mom fell a few weeks ago. She broke her hip or cracked or fractured her hip. She's in a rehab right now. She's doing good, guys. But I've been out there a lot, so I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of things. Just it's and of course, it's not right here. The ones we had right here in town for the rehab places, I wouldn't send anybody's mom to. So she's a little bit. She's like 30 miles away or so, or 20 miles away. But you know, we were talking about Jim called in family sick today, and we're calling BS on that because we happen to know what he's been doing, don't we, Tio?
Oh yeah, I mean Thursday night, you guys know Jim. Whenever we talk about something on the show, Jim always buys it right then and there on the show.
But he didn't this time, and it was a good thing because he didn't. If he bought what he was looking at on the show, it wouldn't have been what he wanted because he wanted. Well, you guys remember we're not going to tell you what he bought, but we're going to tell you he did buy a CB,
Yep,
more or less.
he's graduating.
And yes, he's graduating up, and so he's been hitting us with all these different handles that he wants to go by, and what I think he finally got was Big Bama Jim 555 triple five.
Triple
I don't
five,
know,
triple nickel.
triple nickel, which Big Bama Jim probably hasn't been taken, but that's going to be his handle, and you guys might listen on the 11-meter bands and see if he's out there, especially if you're in the Alabama area. I think didn't he get everything today, or maybe today or tomorrow?
Maybe today or tomorrow. Yeah, I'm guessing this is going to be our next show. Is to what did Jim buy? The big reveal.
That's right. We can't tell you what it was, but
Jim
I
usually
have to
buys
say,
radio stuff and then doesn't make any videos about it. I keep giving him grief for that. Like,
yeah, and I have to tell you, the one he got, I was like, man, that is a pretty nice radio. And I told my wife what it cost, and she goes, well, that's not bad because she's used to ham radio prices.
oh geez, so now you can get one. It's okay,
Yeah, I don't think that was the okay, but it was close, very close.
right?
And so, and Tio, you don't really have anything going on. You're like me, man. Now the rain started again, and we don't know what's going on.
Mama's watching.
So, oh, I'm sure she is. Oh, she said no. Dang, that was fast. I didn't even know she was up yet. So, Ape, on the other hand, he's on special location, and you guys know how hard he is on the H2 community, the people that make the HT community, I should say, not H2. And he's at one of the facilities. I think he's got one of those gold chains with a camera in the medallion, so he can get some secret, pictures and stuff. And then I think he took a pin,
Inconspicuous.
inconspicuous. So who knows what's going to come of that? He may not make it out if they catch him with the camera. I don't know. He's that, or maybe he's on a QRP outing. I don't know.
I am at
He might
Quick
be out
Trip.
doing QRP, huh?
Al in the chat says, "Looks like I'm at Quick Trip." I am at Quick Trip.
Yeah, yeah. You're where are you going today? You're going to Hamfest or something, aren't you?
Hamfest, yeah, the Superior Hamfest today.
Is it Superior?
It is. I am in Superior, Wisconsin. I'm close enough to leave the country.
Oh, nice. Close enough. Yeah. How far are you from the border?
I don't know, probably 20 miles, 30 miles.
Oh, wow. Closer than
So I mean,
mom.
there's like a lake between me and Canada right now.
Yeah, Lake Superior.
Yep. So that's a pretty big lake.
Yeah. So we didn't have a whole lot today, but we're going to talk about a few things. You know what? Let's start with I had Dayton. If you guys are going to Dayton, why don't you go ahead and throw what do you want? What's a good number for Dayton?
Just say me. Just put a me in the chat.
Say
I'm going to Dayton. Say
put
me.
put me in the chat, and I think Jim mentioned the other night that we were going to meet by the pork chop sandwich place
Oh
noon
yeah.
on Saturday. The Toads meet up again.
Got to get some lunch.
Well, yeah, and Jim's actually looking for somebody to buy him a pork chop sandwich. If you guys want to get in good with Jim,
He was
anything
trying
with
to be
food,
on the sly about it.
he was he was pretty sly. Not
I did
so
that. We went
that,
to a
that
we went to a builders club meetup at one of the ham fests around here. One of the ham clubs around here put on a builders thing, and this one guy showed up and he's like, "Man, I really wish I could make one of these." The kit was like $20. Like, it'd be so cool to build one of these with you guys. I'm like, you brought all your tools, you showed up, you took hours out of your day to be here. Just spend the $20, man.
did he build it?
No, nobody got him
No,
one.
nobody.
He's a
Oh!
character.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Pulling the Jim there. Yeah, he
yeah.
those sandwiches did look good. I had already bought something else that day and kind of regretted it because they look. I like pork chops, man. They're good.
Yeah.
Not too many people going. Only Kathy and Ron's going. Looks like. But
Well,
yeah,
Hayden was into the pizza cart. He loved that pizza.
did he? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Hayden made it last year. I don't think he's going to make it this year. At
doesn't
least
sound
as
like
far
it.
as I know. And I was in the know last year, so doesn't look like it. That's too bad. It's you don't get
One
to
of the
see
few
him very
people that
often.
didn't
And
tattle.
yeah, I guess some people did, huh? I didn't. I wouldn't even tell the
Andy, is
guys in our.
Tyler coming too? Keep going. That was
Oh,
for
I was
Andy.
you and I knew you knew, but I didn't know anybody else knew in the group, so I didn't
Right.
even mention it to our guys. I only knew about you, and then come to find out, Abe knew. I don't think Jim knew. He might have. But yeah,
Jim didn't know.
so I've got a few things going on. I've been working on my hex beam. I I don't know if it's going to work yet, but I did develop a different feed line, and I'm using different pieces. I already had this. This is like a PVC. PVC is great, guys. A great thing to. And I'm making things to hold and space the aluminum shafts that do the feed line. I don't know that I have them spaced right. I think I might. And then I made little spacers for it. And they started out like this. I'm like, oh, I'll just make them round because I already had the measurements so they matched. So that's one of the things I'm doing. I did go through all the, I went through all the elements and I got them all dialed in pretty good now. They're all like most of them are 1.3 or less, I think. Now, anybody that has a X beam out there, I know Don has one. 12 meters is the only one that is like 1.6, something like that. For some reason, and it looked flat, but I have noticed that a few times when I did adjust the other ones, they got better. So I'm going to adjust that one. Everything was a little bit long, which is good. That's better than being a little short. Other than my 6 meter, I didn't have a long enough wire for one of them for some reason. Now I did. I didn't put 6 on when I've been doing this testing, but I can do 6, which it's like 6 is like 2.3 or something like that. So I don't know. It tunes up with no problem. So I mean, it doesn't take 6 meters is an easy one because it's no distance at all. I don't know. Don, I know Don has a couple of the hex beams. I don't. Don, if is 12 meter higher on the SWR for you? I don't know. And I haven't raised it all the way up, which they usually get better as you get them away from the
Yeah,
ground.
they lower their SWR as you get them farther away from the ground, which is kind of
Yeah.
an interesting thing. So I guess what happens
So
is you're actually getting reflections off of the ground back into your antenna
yeah,
as opposed to reflections at because your wire's too short and it's bouncing back with some power.
And so far I think I've only got it like 15 to 18 feet off the ground. So I can go, well, I can't, actually about 20 is what I'm going to go anyhow. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe actually I'm probably not going that high yet, but that's one
Yeah.
of the things I've been working on. The other thing I've got a review coming out. I'm trying to finish it between going to the rehab. This is a little tuner. I think I showed it the other night.
Chuck going to rehab.
I wish I was, but this is what I'm replacing. I bought this off a Big Jim. This is an LDG,
That's the
and
Z100.
yeah, and look how much size I'm going to save. They're exactly the same front to back, but
Yeah.
about half the size. So it's going to save quite a bit of room. Plus, this one doesn't really tune that well at 5 or 10 watts. It tunes, but
Yeah.
this one tunes good at that lower output.
So real quick, we got David in the chat who passed his general. We gave him a whole bunch of well wishes
Nice.
last Saturday, passed the test, and he is on his way. Congratulations, David.
Good job, David. And you're gonna love that general, because the general gets you a lot. I mean, it's a big step up from what you can do as a tech.
The upgrade from general to extra isn't really that great. It's more bragging rights than anything else, I think.
Yeah, and then you don't go OB a lot of times when I contest. I have to start.
Band.
I had to go at the bottom of the band and work my way up when I work, because all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, went too far.
Yeah, because there's like they take the middle out of the band. So if you're tuning like 40 meters, the lower portion of the band is CW and the higher portion of the band is voice.
Right.
And there's this middle spot that as a general you're not allowed to touch. So, and John is correct. Extra gets you the DX honey hole. So if you are really into DXing, there is the DX window where the US extra class portion of the band overlaps with a lot of the foreign portions of the band for their regular guys. And so they can't get into where us generals can, but they can get into where us extras can.
I know Cal will he'll do 20, because in the UK it's right where the general starts at his ends or something like that, and he'll do two different bands or two different frequencies, so that you can contact him if you're a general. And I always found it weird that guys that go out and do POTA set up in the extra section, because you basically cut a lot of your contacts out there if you do that. But maybe that's what they're trying to do. The other thing I'm working on is my rotatable dipole that I did. Shoot, it's got to been at least a year ago. For some reason, people said I didn't show a picture of it, which I thought I did. I didn't show one up. And T.O. can agree with me on this, because when you try to like get a picture or a video of an antenna, it's tough in the sky.
Yep.
It's just because the background either washes it out or it's too busy. So
for some reason your eyeball focuses really well on like different things in the foreground and the background, and the camera doesn't really do that. The camera's like I can't see the wire, so it's hard to show a wire antenna because there's just not enough of it there for the camera to fixate on.
And this one's conduit, but it's still kind of hard to see. And I have a lot of trees in my backyard, so it's when I get in the air, if I get under it, I guess I can shoot straight up maybe and show it better. But I'll make sure that I get more at this time. I've got a nice little. I think 45 Auto is the one that gave me a nice little. He commented and mentioned something, and I'm going to try and do what he was talking about to kind of make it even better than it was. And it'll probably be flatter as in the higher or the lower bands. Because I made it for 10, and I think I can get 20 as a rotatable dipole the way I'm going to do it.
Liberty wants to know how high up it is.
The rotatable dipole, when I did it, I had it about 10 or 15, about 15 feet, I think, when I had it up. And that thing I was like, because it was 10, and so it doesn't have to be super, super high to get it kind of directional. And I got a guy in Colorado, and he's like, man, you are booming in here. And I was running 100 watts is all. And I was surprised how well it worked. I mean, it's a dipole. The thing about it is with that conduit, you have a lot more in the air than wire, so it should be a little wider band, especially on 10. 10's so wide. It's a big band. So that's the other thing. I'm The rain kind of stopped me this year so far because we got more than we've been getting. I mean, when I first started, I had all winter I could do stuff outside and stuff, but now it's getting there. I think this is gonna be a quick storm. It's supposed to get half an inch though, but I don't believe it. So Big Bama Jim, I like it. What else do I have down here? We can talk about. Well, I'll go through some of our antennas for portable use, which is what we kind of specialize in, is portable antennas. You can use our antennas for home if you want to. And we had quite a few people at Huntsville tell us that they had theirs up for a year and no problems. The only thing
Yep.
that you probably will find is especially the reds and the oranges will probably fade. But that's anybody's antenna wire. I've got a DX Engineering one that started at black and it's gray now. So
But if you're going
it's
to leave it
nothing
up
you can.
permanent and use it all day long, I mean, I would almost consider it like a disposable type antenna at that point because I mean, our
Yeah,
price point on that is under $100, and a year or two worth of contacts on a all the time up in the air basis is a lot different than a portable use. So I'd say
yeah.
it's like cost per contact a lot cheaper if you put it up full time than it is if you just use it portable.
Oh yeah. So I guess the first one we came out with, well, I'm going to go with the current is the Apollo, the infed halfway. That's a great antenna for portable use. Actually, I'm going to bring out an RV video here pretty soon on
Solar
different
panels
types
down.
of antennas and solar panels. Yeah, in the back of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a great antenna. It's super easy to put up, and it's pretty efficient. I mean, it's not as good as a dipole. We sell the Mercury for that, and that's a link dipole. I think a lot of times people, you can't. It's hard to beat a dipole. Period. I mean, unless you're going
It's
to
one of
go
the
into
easiest
rehab use and
antennas to
stuff,
do.
and they're super easy. You can either beat them with a balun or without a balun. They still work. From what I understand, the lobes change if you don't use a balun, but that might work in your case. It might be a good direction for you. And then the infed, the random wire that we sell, which one's that? That's the Aries. That's a good one because it's shorter. It can be shorter. In fact, it can be real short. I mean, fairly short. And the shorter, the less it's going to be good on your lower bands. But what do you use? What have you been using a lot? Do you use the 9-to-1 or do you use
Well, since we finally got
infed
the
halfway?
Poseidon built on one of the streams, I've been using the Poseidon, the Rybakov style, the 4-to-1 vertical. But for me, it's actually hard in my current circumstances to get time to build something like that and do a good job on video. So we decided to do it on a live stream, and that
Right.
Poseidon works really well.
Yeah, and I think the people. I mean, for me like POTA and stuff is 20 meters is my band because I don't have anybody behind me other than Japan and Australia, and that's there. I don't think Japan. I think Japan's now. I think they're kind of getting into POTA stuff, but I don't see a lot of action from that area. So you guys in the central United States, that Poseidon's awesome because it's just going pretty good distance for some reason. I guess it's got a low takeoff, and you got all the bands, and it doesn't take up any space.
Right.
I set that up. I'm going to do a video on that. I took a little short video of when I was up at the ocean this last weekend or weekend before last, and basically it was like a parking lot. You had well, I guess let's see, you had about 30, 30 feet or so per space, something like that at the most. I mean, my motorhome took up almost 10 of it. So, but it did really good. And John's had his up. Yeah, it is an amazing antenna as far as what you're putting up in the air and what it can do. And it worked really good for camping. Unfortunately, I didn't get it away from my motorhome like I'd like to have because it was so windy there. And there just happened to be a really nice 4x4 post that I could attach it to. So that worked really well. And we're working on some other things. I think we've got the offset. I actually have an off center fed already made, and we started testing on it. And we kind of jumped on the Poseidon there because it was quick and easy.
And then it was super exciting, and nobody's jumped off again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, when you get Ape excited about I mean, he likes the two. He likes the 9-to-1 too, but he likes all we hear is, I can't get away from Russia now. They're just
right?
all over me on FT8 and stuff. And it's like, holy
So our
cow.
buddy KD is asking a question. Any big benefits to two masts and a horizontal wire? So I guess he's talking instead of one mast and a sloper, or one mast and a vertical, or one mast and an inverted V. So I guess, yeah, I mean, comparing a
There
dipole and
is.
a flat top dipole to an inverted V dipole would probably be the easiest way to answer that one, Chuck.
Yeah, I think that's what he's probably talking about. If you can get it high enough, you can set it up more directional. When you do an inverted V, it's kind of directional, but not really. But when you get it flat, and if you get it up high enough, so 10, 6 and 10 would be your easier bands to get high enough. Like a 6 meter. If 6 meters open, I know my buddy Gary in here does a lot of 6 meter. He does it every day, but he's got really good setup. But he gets into Texas and Florida almost every day. It's there. People just don't use it. I mean, it may not. It's not there like it's open, but it's always kind of there, like any band, short distance stuff. But yeah, if you could get it up high enough, a lot of people put like, I know the what's the antenna? What's the Yagi that has the Josh has one where it does different bands on the same all the same elements.
Hmm.
Um, it makes them longer and short, but they have a rotatable dipole. Rotatable dipole, if you can get up high enough on 40, is not bad. I mean,
Step IR.
yes, the step IRs have it, but I actually have an add-on kit for my Mosley, and it's probably high enough to get me a little bit of. I mean, it's 65 feet or so, so it would probably have a little bit of directionality to it. I just never threw it on because it adds another 15 feet on each side or something like that. It's huge. And another coil because it's a coil type setup. It's a tri-bander.
So John is saying that we should try attaching the counterpoise to the campground water piping, and it will really sing. Huh.
Yeah, and that was
Wonder if
right.
there's
I
any
had one.
danger to the campground if we do that.
You know what? No, I hooked my infed half wave to my house water pipe one time to ground it. Gary told me to do that because I was having a little problem with it at like 800 watts. It was starting to rise in the SWR at times, and once I did that, it never rose again. And Gary likes to call them the half antennas, but yeah. So let me click that one.
Go
Did
for
you
it.
click it?
Go for it.
Thank you, Matthew. And I think I don't know what we're doing these days on this stuff, but good morning to all POTA today with the Poseidon and a sandwich. All right.
Nice.
Enough better than POTA and a sandwich and a Poseidon. Thank you,
So he's going
Matthew.
to the Sandwich Ham Fest in Sandwich,
Oh,
Illinois. I'm sure he's going to have
oh,
a sandwich when he gets there, but
oh, okay. I read that wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Oh, the Hamfest is tomorrow, but looks like he's doing a POTA today. Yeah, we
yep.
had somebody just went out on their very first POTA and took the Poseidon out and did really well. I was glad to hear that. It is
Awesome.
super. I mean, it's like a 5 minute antenna if you guys have your stuff down. Like I don't actually guy my mast. I have a stake I drive in the ground, and if it's not windy like it was at the beach, it works really well. And I've had it in my backyard, even when it was raining all the time. It was up for like over a week and never had a problem. Eventually, though, if it gets windy and it's soft, the ground soft, it does start to lean. But I have a really good luck with it. I really wanted to use it at the ocean because I was at the ocean, but it was so noisy there, and the bands were not very good. So I didn't really get it. One of these days, I'm going to take it down to the beach and try it out. It should work really well on the beach. Verticals work good on the beach, supposedly.
I want to do a vertical dipole with a kite at the beach. That would be pretty awesome.
I watched. What's the guy in Australia? I don't remember his name now, but he's the guy that is always barefoot, runs
Oh,
his
Peter Parker,
beat.
Spider-Man.
Peter Peter Parker, right? And he's done some moccasins, vertical moccasins, where you instead of flat, you run them up and down, and that's fairly easy to do on the beach. And now you're talking some gain on top of gain, hopefully with the salt water.
I don't know. I tried that saltwater stuff. It didn't really work out well for me. We'll have to try it again.
Yeah. All right. All right, Danny. Good afternoon from Scotland. Have a dram
Good
on me.
afternoon,
Thank you.
Danny.
Thank you,
Thank
Danny.
you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon there, huh?
Yep. It's almost
This
time for
this
a nap.
show, yeah. And sometimes I could sure use one. I end up waking up. Once I wake up, I'm kind of done for the, I might as well just get up because that's the way I am. But so like mentoring. Now I'm going to mention today, and I wish we could get him on the show. Gary, W9FMB, taught me a lot, and that's what I'm trying to do, as To is trying to do here. Pass on the knowledge that we've found out, and Gary has way more knowledge than I do. Still, I mean, he always will, but he's been doing this for a long time, and so that's what we try to do here: help the new hams and stuff, and through our wonderful chat, there's guys in the chat that have a lot of good information. So if we don't know or we're not sure, we always turn to the chat. Guys, if you guys can find somebody that can help you, it works really well. And you'll progress a lot faster. And the Gary gave me him and another guy in this chat we used to be in. Well, he still is. I'm in there every once in a while. Gave me the figures how to make my own 2-meter or 20-meter Yagi. And it was a kind of a hybrid thing where it didn't have a reflector. It had the driven and a director. And that thing, it worked, man. It's probably as good, if not better, than my Mosley because it was full length. It was a full 2-element length thing.
Right.
So, yeah, Gary, I really appreciate all the help you've given me in the past. And one of these days, we're going to get him on the show, and I don't know what we'll talk about. He's electrician by trade, retired. He got to work Indianapolis. He worked in where the Colts played. He was one of the main guys there, so for
Oh,
years.
nope. Don't mention the Colts around me, boy. Not
Uh-oh.
gonna have
Oh,
that.
no Colts.
Yeah, no
Well,
Colts and no Mayflower trucking. Not happening
how
around
about
here.
how about the Colts cheerleaders? Is that okay?
Well, that's a whole different story.
All right. I'm sure they have some. So if you guys, I know what's Don says, working on a 160 or 80-meter horizontal loop. Yeah, he was looking for wire. I gave him DX Engineering's price on the wires. It used to be really good. You buy a doublet, and Gary taught me this. So you buy the doublet. If you only want to do about 80, you buy the 160 because it was $10 more, and you got double the wire. You couldn't buy the wire for that price. They quit that though. It's not as good a deal as it used to be.
They learned their lesson.
I guess maybe we mentioned it too much. I don't know, but
Right.
um,
Gary's on the wrong side of the Colts debate here. Gary, get out of here.
oh man.
I wasn't
So
even in Baltimore when that happened.
really,
Nope.
I don't think I had any other than that. You guys have any questions there? I'll throw them up there and we'll try to answer them. It's just kind of an easy day today. What else you got? Anything else? Yeah, you're getting ready to buy a new trailer, right? And
Yeah,
that's
we're
a
working on it.
ham related trailer.
Yeah, my ham radio go box. I
His
saw
Go
Mike the
Box.
traveling ham in the chat. He calls his 8-ton go box.
Yeah, they get pretty heavy. And you bought a
16,000
450. Is that
pounds.
what you bought? You never really
450.
told.
Yeah. No, I put it in one of the videos.
Oh, I haven't caught all your videos on that. I mean, you put out so many videos. It's hard to keep up with you to start with.
I do, man. I got work to do, man. I gotta get the message out.
And I'll put it out there. Are you guys interested? I bought a little, and To got to write it down in course a little dual sport, and I haven't really done anything on it yet. So
Yeah.
I can take it places off road and do some. I'll probably do some radio stuff. You guys are interested? Let me know. I mean, it's kind of a crossover. I'm a motorcycle guy forever. I mean, since I was a kid. So it's one of the things I like. I've always meant, and then COVID hit, and I was always like gonna go out on my Harley and stuff and use that for going out and doing like POTA or something like that. The Harley wouldn't do much soda stuff, but the dual sport will. And Javi and I did a dual sport down there.
Yeah,
They're
of
so
course I saw
cool.
that.
Yeah, and I've been riding mine a lot here lately. I actually it gets like 60 miles a gallon. So I've got I've got a new GPS thing, and Tio kind of knows about that a little bit, and it's pretty cool. $18 a year. This guy in Portugal designed this GPS setup, and you can put in like highway fun, and when you do highway fun, it takes you all the back roads. And from here to where my mom's staying is a really cool ride, except for the end of it. The end of it takes you through residential, which the first part kind of does, but the residential is like back country. So
So they're
I
asking in the
Lana,
chat what the dual sport is that you got. Tell them what you got.
I bought it's super popular. It's not super expensive. It's a CRF 250L Honda, and they make it now. It's a 300. I didn't get the 300. I bought a used one. They're about less than half the price of if I bought, like, I have a Beta for dirt bike riding, and that's what I rode down. I was afraid to let Teal ride that thing because it's a beast. It's 2-stroke 300,
Yeah, because I
and
hadn't ridden in the
Beta.
dirt before.
Yeah, he hadn't ridden in the dirt before. He's a motorcycle guy, but not in the dirt. And dirt's a little different, especially down there because it's so dry and you don't have a lot of traction.
There you go.
But if you bought like a KTM or a Beta version of what I bought, which has way more power and better suspension, all that stuff, and way more maintenance, which is another reason I bought the little Honda, because it's the maintenance. It's a street bike motor, so the maintenance intervals are a lot bigger, longer than the dirt bike versions. But it's half the price, less than half the price. And my buddy bought it. He buys this 500 KTM and then put the price of the bike back into it to get it to run. My Honda, you just hit the button, it goes.
Yep. That's the
And they're
thing about
super,
Hondas.
and Hondas are super reliable. So that's another reason I went with that one. Let's
We
click
got a
on
super
the
chat from Don here. He
from
says,
Don. Thank you,
last
Don.
video, Alpha Alpha 5 Alpha Hotel is in my club. US 4423 is his home park. Yeah, I've worked Alpha Hotel a couple of times. Actually, I think we got Alpha Hotel when we were with Mike, the Traveling Ham, also. So, yeah, no comments about Alpha Hotel, though.
Did you have? I thought I saw something you had starred here. Maybe not. Maybe that was
Nah,
that one.
that was that
Thank you,
one.
Don. So yeah, I'm getting real excited. We're about to take a little off road. Well, it's kind of an on road off road trip on the bikes. Me and a couple buddies, and gonna load them down. Gonna camp 1 or 2 nights, and I'll probably throw the KX2 in because it fits pretty good. I've bought some bags for it. I need to do a bunch of stuff on it. I've contemplated doing the, because when you do bike stuff on a ham radio channel, it doesn't really get the views that it does on a bike channel.
Right. Bike
So
reviews on a ham channel don't work as well as ham reviews on a bike channel. Did I say that right?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you talk about how to use radios on a bike channel, people are interested in that more so than it seems like, because there aren't a lot of guys that do a lot of radio stuff, and I do have some cool stuff for hooking radios. What's really nice is the Yaesu with the GPS, the Bluetooth will click into your headset on your motorcycle headsets, and you can use it. I got a little push to button. It's actually the replacement for one of the gear levers. So that's something I want to show. Look at Liberty 72
Liberty.
Beamer.
Yes. Yes,
This is
that's
a
the answer.
sidecar.
Yes. 72R75 5 with a sidecar. Do it. Done.
Oh, Matthew's got a KTM 790 Duke.
The Duke.
Matthew, I'm looking at. I'm gonna get rid of my Harley because my wife is not interested in it anymore in riding. So I'm gonna lose the weight of the bike because I'm looking at a KTM 790, but not the Duke. I'm looking at the Adventure. The new one's really reasonably priced for a KTM. I'm a little worried about. Hopefully, you've had good luck with your KTM on. I don't know. I've done rides to Colorado and stuff. So, and my Harley never let me down. So, I know a lot of people talk bad about Harleys, but those were the '70s, the AMF days.
Yeah, I
They were
didn't have any
terrible.
problem with my Harleys.
And actually, I read at one time they had a better report or better report back than Beamers did at one time. I don't know if that's every year that way. CBX 500. That's a good little bike. Yeah. Liberty says, I will give you what the BMW owner wants for your Harley, Chuck.
That's an unknown number, so
Yeah, unknown number. Let me know. I'm not really. To's good at selling stuff. I'm not good at selling stuff. I like to keep it.
Well, it's funny.
My,
People
my,
act like it's really hard. It's just patience.
I know, I know.
The
And,
hardest
and
the hardest
just,
part is when people are like, "Will you take this ridiculously stupid lowball offer on this thing I've never seen?" And my answer is always like, "Yes, cash now. Let's do it." And then when they get there, it's like, "I want to do a test drive." Nope, you said cash. Where's the cash? Get out of here. You know,
right.
if you're going to
Yeah.
negotiate over the phone, then you're going to buy unseen. Done.
And a motorcycle, it's tough to let people ride because you have no idea if they can ride.
Right.
Most of the time.
They're asking me about my 7100 in the chat. There is no updates, no answers on that. Because of having to video everything, it's going to take about 4 times longer than you think it would. So, what I'm going to do next is go through all of the comments on the video. There were some really awesome comments out there, and film all of that stuff, and then see where we get, and continue the journey with everybody, helping out, which will be, I think it'll be a fun journey to do. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fix it myself, but we'll learn a lot along the way.
Right now, I want to just hit this one because, and Liberty can back me up on this. I do sell something every once in a while.
Yeah.
I've sold two radios. Actually, more than that, but two big radios. So there, Kathy. I'll pay for that later.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
What? I didn't watch that video yet. I wanted to watch that. What is wrong with your 7100?
Zero power out.
Oh,
Radio
zero now?
works fine, but it doesn't put any, well, it puts out like 0.17 or something like that. It's like super low. And then when I do get into it on some bands, it'll actually shut the battery off. Like the radio isn't what dies in the video, it's the battery that dies in the video. The BMS inside of the
Oh,
battery
wow.
says, no, you're not getting that. So it's trying to draw over 50 amps is my guess. I don't know the specs on the BMS inside the battery. Yeah, Don's right. It does work on VHF, UHF, but it is, low power. So I mean, the easy answer to that is it's probably the finals that are blown, and I can kind of see like maybe I had it on and it was set to HF and the microphone got stuck and I didn't have a dummy load on the HF antenna ports, so maybe.
Hey, Joe
So
Brett woke up. Morning, Joe Brett. Oh, well, I sent you something on that because the 7100s had a problem when they first came out with
yeah.
lack of power, but it wasn't like what you're talking about. It was like they only put out 50 or 60 watts or something instead of 100.
So a friend of mine also mentioned that the 7100s came in like 3 different models. They had a QRP model, they had a half power model, and they had a full power model. And I don't see any markings of indication as to which one that I got, so I don't really have any idea.
Okay. That's too bad.
So that's good information, Don. Thank you. Because if the finals go on transmit, he's saying that they also go on receive, and I'm still thinking that it's pretty receivable.
Hmm.
But I have to give it a check. I haven't had it on an HF antenna for a
I know
long
Gary
time.
Gary has one of those in his truck, I think. I don't know if he's had any problems at all. Probably not, but he bought his after the point when they were having problems. I just saw when I was looking at radios, when I was looking at the 857, I was looking at the 7100 because basically the same type of radio. I just didn't, I wanted something more compact at the time.
Well, I
And I
think
could still
as
see
a
the screen.
mobile radio, like actually physically installed in the car,
Hmm.
or the like sitting on your desk, the 7100 is a great radio. The 857 is good for in your car or like in a backpack out in the field. The
Yeah.
7100 I don't think works well in the field. It
Yeah.
does, but
That's what I wanted it for. I wanted to be able to throw it. I tell you the truth, I'd rather throw that than my 705 in the backpack because I have 100 watts and it fits better usually.
the 705 is hard to backpack. It's not a backpack form factor.
It's really not.
It's a nice
Good,
radio. It's just
great,
not.
good radio. I'm going to do a video on that too.
It's not man pack portable.
Yeah, actually, I have that camera backpack, which is not a backpack I would take like on a soda or something like that, but it actually fits really well on that. I had the chance of throwing one in there before I bought one, and And I have to tell you, the only reason I bought one is because I found a decent deal on it when I bought it. It wasn't. I didn't pay brand new price on mine.
Right.
45. I gave you a plug earlier because I think it was you that gave me a suggestion on my rotatable dipole. I don't know if it wasn't you. I'll find out because I'll look it up before I do the video. But I think it was him. I don't know. Where do you have to send ICOMs? I know the Aces are down south here.
There is an authorized repair center down south in California for Yaesu. There's an
Hmm.
authorized repair center in Michigan, Western Michigan, which is actually fairly close to me, depending on which part of Michigan it is, the big part or the little part. So there might be some video fodder in that, depending on how far we can get. I don't know if I want to get into replacing the finals. I don't know that I have the gear to do it, because of the finals by design are designed to dissipate heat, and so they are very heavily welded in place.
You know, I replaced some in an amplifier one time, and my buddy told me that my little um my soldering iron was not heavy duty enough, but I was able to do it still. I just put the biggest tip I had on it and heated it up and
Yeah.
set it on high, and it did it. And
It
it
needs the ability to
was
keep its heat when it's got a humongous heat dissipating device underneath of it. I mean, you're basically trying to solder a
right,
heat sink.
right. And what do you have? What does that have in it? Is that the Toshiba's in that thing?
I think they're
Probably not.
Mitsubishi's.
Or Mitsubishi's, yeah. Toshiba Mitsubishi's. It's not the pill style, right? Or have you looked?
No, no, I'd looked.
What
It's in
I
the
what I
video.
replaced what I replaced with some pills. Basically, they're not that hard because they have like 4 places that you solder, and I was able to get everything hot enough, and it's working to this day. A buddy of mine has it. I didn't know what was wrong with it, and I sent a picture to a friend that was in the same chat that Gary and I were in, and he's like, "Well, look at this. Look right here in your picture, and then you'll see it." And then I looked at it again. I was like, "Oh yeah, that is it." I had to replace with a resistor and a well, I had to replace 4. It has 4 of the finals because they're supposed to be matched,
Yep,
or was it 2? It was 4, 2 or 4, I forget. So yeah, so technically you have to have matched ones. So I did it correctly.
very cool.
I can't wait to see
Otherwise, they'll
what
start,
Jim's.
feeding off of each other.
Right, I guess it probably still works. It's just not as efficient. I guess is what it is. And I know Gary's built amps for 6 meter. He takes old Drakes. I think an old Drake and rebuild it, and he's getting 1,000. I don't have those skills. I wish I did, and I can't. If I buy another amp, it's going to have 6 on it because I can't really afford having. I don't have enough 6 meter to have a separate amp for that. I have an antenna. It works good when it's open, but in fact, what are we? Are we getting close? No, a couple more months.
We
Actually, I
won't
was
see
at
Chuck on
Gary's.
stream those days.
Actually, I was at Gary's house for Dayton one year. I spent the night at his place. I got to check out his shack and all that stuff, and it was closer to the airport for me the next day. And he goes, "Oh, you and I could talk today on 6." And it was like one of the first times. Every time when I was working, he goes, "Hey, 6 is open." I'm at work today. I don't have it. I don't have anything here. So we've never talked on 6. We've talked on other bands. I've talked to
So
him when he's
for
mobile,
6, do you want a vertical or a horizontal antenna?
horizontal. It'll work both, but horizontal's better usually because most people are that way, and it's shorter distance, so you're not getting that turnover.
Yeah,
Uh, Gary talks to a lot of people on halos, or the squallows, or what do you
squalos.
call them?
Yeah,
He actually that's what he has for his antenna in his truck because it on 6 it's fairly good size still on 6, but it mounts really nice in the truck and it doesn't catch a lot of wind. But I actually never made. I was going to make one, and there was a build, and it was using a lawn chair, the old lawn chairs that fold up, the webbing and
oh,
stuff.
nice.
So I had one, and I had it on the side of my house, and somebody picked that thing up and stole it, man. So I never, because you kind of need that much, and that would have been a really good one. Gary says horizontal SSB CW Vertical for FM, yeah, vertical for FM for most things, yeah. I've never tried FM or repeaters or anything on 6. I'm sure there's something around here someplace, but I'm not turned. I would lose a bunch with my Yagi probably because it's horizontal. I was going to put my 2 meter up with a something that turned at 45 or 90 degrees. I got in a hurry when I put it up and I didn't do it. Yeah, Frank, 6 meter. It's here because if you go on Wednesday nights on the Bozo net, they do 6 meter on that night, and I can get into Fresno almost actually easier than 2, but 2 meters at my house is not very good. I got too many hills around me. But you go up on
More
the hill,
height,
totally different story when you get on the hill.
right?
Yeah. So where are we at here? Oh, we got a little more time, huh? Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Anybody? I don't know. Like I said, I've been busy doing other things than ham radio lately, unfortunately. But anything else? You
So
got anything else going?
KD's
Huh?
got a question. Does vertical or horizontal physical orientation also mean polarization in the end? Yes.
In long distance, I think your signals, and Gary or
They start
somebody
to
can
circle.
correct me, they
Yeah.
start to circle. Short distance, like if you just, what I noticed on CB, I had really good antennas. Like I had a Yagi, and the local stuff, vertical worked way better
Yeah.
because I was too close. But when
So
I
I mean, it
went
really depends.
back east,
Close
different
in.
story.
Yeah. So like what Chuck's talking about, close in. So Chuck is talking to somebody in his neighborhood, in his
Hmm.
county, or whatever. Then you both want to be vertical. If one of you is vertical and one of you is horizontal, it's a problem. But once you make that first, I think it's once you make that first skip off the atmosphere is where it will. I used the wrong word, skip there. Once you make that first bounce off the atmosphere, it sometimes will remove the polarization problem. But the easiest way to tell this is to go outside with your HT and key up your local repeater, and then when it responds back, as you're listening to it respond back, turn your radio sideways and you'll immediately hear less or nothing when you turn it sideways.
Matthew, yeah, Teal and I are both, and Jeem, we're all going to go to, and Kathy, we're all going, and Chris,
Yep.
everybody's going, everybody but Abe, and that's what he said last year. So we'll see, and he went. Yeah, what I found on CB when that's where I started, like a lot of us did. Vertical was the way to go, especially for I mean, they don't go real far to start with most of the time, unless you have skip going. But shoot, I've had some fun on skip on CB too. I did a video just listening one day, and you guys be surprised. Some of the guys in CB, like Ape likes to say this, they have better sounding systems than some hams. When you listen to them, they get into it. I went to a shootout one time, and
Those are fun
that
to
was
do.
interesting. That was interesting. If they throw a guy on a hill a ways away, and then the guy that pegs the meter the best wins. So pretty scientific. Big Jeem, five five
They're
five in
trying
the
real
house.
hard.
Is Jeem here? Oh,
Yeah, he just showed up. The
big
Bama
big
Hamma just showed up.
big Bama Jeem. Yeah, we didn't tell what you bought, Jeem. We'll leave that up to you. But we did let people know that you are a CBer now. He always was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could tell. You could tell just by looking at him.
yeah. He's got that look. So yeah, um, if you're short distance, I think polarization. Well, I'll tell you, even for me on 40. Now check this out. 40, I put the Poseidon up, I put other verticals up, and I have my doublet. And my doublet consistently is 3 to 4 units better than my verticals to San Diego because San Diego's too short for a vertical for me, really. Now, when I have my half square up into South America, 2 or 3 units better on the half square than my doublet on 40. So it's all what you want to do. I mean, I don't know. So, hey, if you guys, I don't know if you guys are buying Mast, but somebody asked the other night. It was on Frank's stream about Mast, and I've just been telling people lately, check out DX Commander. You can get them from DX Engineering. They're in stock. Other places have them, basically the same, somewhat the same ones, and usually more expensive. The DX Commander, the price. Big Jim just bought one, and I was surprised. It wasn't didn't break the bank. So that's if you guys are looking for that kind of stuff. Cal does a good job with that. He buys in bulk, and that helps.
It does.
You know, he drives the Merc too. I never knew what he kept talking about the Merc. The Merc. I never heard
The
Mercedes called Merc.
Mercedes, yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. I never
Well, to
heard that
them, it's a
before.
taxi cab over there. I mean, to us, it's some
Right.
fancy luxury car.
Right.
And to them, it's just,
Right.
Ford Escort.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Merc down to the pier. Good to hear that John got his Poseidon up. He's liking that thing. He
Hey,
should do
Paul,
really well there. I mean, on the water. What's
I
up,
bet that
Paul?
Poseidon would do great on 11 meters.
Yeah. Who knows? Somebody may try that someday.
Somebody in
Yep.
Alabama.
Yep. Somebody in Alabama. He's like a little kid in the candy store, wasn't he? Talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
Couldn't shut
And
up about it.
Apes just messing with him the whole time. Give him different handles that he could use and stuff like that. You got to get a handle, son. What's he say? He's going to do something this afternoon. He says.
He's going to run the CB with the Poseidon. Don't forget your tuna.
Yeah, don't forget your tuner.
Forgot your LDG.
I forget where it was. I think I did check it on 11 to see what it was. It wasn't too far off. It'll tune easy.
10, 11, 12, they're all right in that spot.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, actually, tell you the truth, that this red Toroid might actually work there. This one here.
What is the red?
I forget.
It's the mix.
This is the one that they say for the Poseidon is what you should use, or a lot of people use. It wasn't as I mean, actually, it wasn't as efficient as the Toroid we're using, and it wouldn't tune everything that I wanted. I was out one day. I made a contact to Scotland on 12 because I couldn't get 20. I couldn't get 20 to tune. Luck. I mean, it's just luck of the draw that day.
Right.
But some days you just, I mean, like I said, when I was up at the problem with RV, I got to do some stuff on RV, and To will probably do something like this too, or probably has. It's tough when you're RVing because you don't want to be too conspicuous, right? And because everybody, oh, you talking to Mars? Yeah. Actually, I had a good discussion with my neighbor. He was asking me all about it. Who do you talk to? I go all over the world, dude, especially
Oh,
on
yeah.
FT8. I was out camping, talked to Australia on 11 meters, but I was in a spot where it wasn't super noisy.
Right.
On an A99 at about 10 or 15 feet. So
John,
it was
FT8
good.
is the best kind of talking. There's no arguments. There's no political debate. There's no medical BS drama going on.
Right. Yeah, it's actually I've done it more lately. I feel like sometimes because I have people, man, I was chasing you all over the place on all the bands. Chuck, you were like somebody said it's like the CIA was chasing you or something. And
Yeah.
I might be a rare FT8 because I don't do a lot of FT8. So a lot of people know that I don't do FT8. But I have been doing it for
So,
testing, especially on the Poseidon because it's so easy.
yeah, it just shows you that map right away, which is pretty awesome. K8YYM's got a question for you. What amp besides the one Zygoose sells would work on a G90 to make a 100-watt radio? So 20 in, 100 out, or less than 20 in, 100 out.
You know, Elecraft makes one. If you want 100 watts. Um, After that, I mean, I've got an old Yaesu one, but you won't be able to find that. I mean, Jason found one somehow, but he does a lot of swap meets and stuff.
Yeah. Does RM
That's
Italy
a
make a
really
good one?
actually R admittedly does. Yeah, I don't know. The one I have is it's like it'd probably do 200 or 300 watts. It's fairly big. They make different ones though, but RM Italy does make some, and they're good. You just have to watch your drive power on those. And with the Zygu, you almost can't over. I mean, I think 15 is usually max on those.
Well, the Zygu
Our
has a
our
ton of built-in protections. It'll actually tell the radio if you hook up the right cables from the XPA 125B to the G90, their amp will
all
tell the
right,
radio to throttle back.
and so does the actually the RM Italy's have protection also. So it's not like you're just. I don't know how many amps you've messed with, but I think quality wise, it might be a little upscale from Zygu. I don't know. It'll They work really well. The only thing that the
Yeah,
Zygu has is it has a tuner in it too.
it does.
So if you're using something like say the Poseidon or an Aries or something like that, you have to have a tuner before the amp. Um, if you have to
And
tune it,
after.
well, it has to be between the antenna and the amplifier, so you tune it before it gets to the amp
Well, so
and
then
the
you're
radio.
matching the finals on the radio to the input of the amp, but something still needs to match the output of the amp to the input of the antenna.
I don't know where you're going with that, but
Well, so you
if you tune the
you say
antenna,
before the yeah,
the amp, it goes antenna to the amp to the radio, and
right.
once you tune the antenna, the amp likes it, and your radio will like it.
Right, but you were talking about maybe we're getting the before part wrong. So to me, before is between antenna and sorry, before is between radio and amp. After is between amp and antenna.
Okay, yeah,
So we
the
might have just
antenna
been
goes
talking the
into the
exact
amp.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
antenna goes into the amp.
amp goes directly to the
That's
radio.
what's this say? Dear Lord, Chuck's gears just stripped. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out what Teal was saying. I thought he was tuning on both sides of it when what he said the first time. Yeah, yeah, that's the one advantage to that Zygu, and a lot of the amps don't have that. I think now Don can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Elecraft one. The Elecraft is the other one, and if you want to, but you're going to pay for that.
Yep.
And Don can put in here what they cost. Probably not a whole lot more than the MRM Italy though, but I think
Well,
it does
Elecraft
have a
makes
tuner.
two. They make a portable one and they make a shack one, and obviously the portable one's going to probably be more expensive.
Yeah, that's the 100 watt. Is the KPA 100, I think, and then
Yeah.
they have a KPA 500 and a 1500. Don, yeah.
See you, Jim.
Don says the Elecraft is 1695. Wow, for 1695, I mean, just what you want. There's other companies out there too. If you get into the Hermes Light crew, like the Facebook, those guys talk a lot about low power in, high power out, and there's a couple in there that they recommend also, and I don't remember what they are though. But the RM Midleys are good. They're good little amps if you treat them right. You just don't want to overpower it, and it will cut. If you do overpower, the one I have will cut itself off. I've got a little 10 meter one too that does 100 watts. If you only want 10, there's a little small. A lot of guys buy them for CVs, so you get 10. I mean, if you can
So
swing in
Big
a
John, Big John says he'd rather have a new truck than an Elecraft. Big John's never owned an Elecraft before.
yeah, new
I
trucks
bought
are
a
nice
used
too
truck so
though.
I can afford an Elecraft.
That's right. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever buy another new truck.
Nope.
The sticker shock. Don uses the Elecraft with his Hermes light all the time. He loves it. Don's got tons of radios and stuff.
He's got toys for days.
He does. He's got. I mean, and Don does it right. I mean, all his stuff is nice stuff. He's got that. He's got the Flex. He's got the. What's the other one? The Apache Labs. The Non. Yeah. Oh, just received my Barry Winkle car tumbler. Chris says.
Nice.
Yeah, we're almost out of them after the show the other night. I think we were down
Yep.
to like 7. Jim was
Yep. They
kind
only
of
lasted a
stretching it with
week.
the 4. Yeah, we didn't think we'd sell them. We thought we'd be sitting on those things forever. Lee has a 7,200 watt generator built in his truck, his new
That's
truck.
a big generator.
I don't know if that's generators are not the best for POTA. I don't think. I wonder if he's talking about an inverter
Oh,
instead of
it's
a
just built
generator.
into the truck. It's probably, the work trucks all have that stuff built in now. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I found out on my Honda 2000. If you guys ever have a Honda 2000 or some kind of a portable generator, if you ground that thing to the ground and you put a choke in it, a lot quieter. Jeff wants to know when the real pink would. And you know what, Jeff, we'd probably have to hire a painter to paint the real pink. I mean, I don't know. That's the best we could
It,
do. We
the
don't make
real
them.
pink that they have is not that sexy. It's kind of
No.
dull,
Yeah. Looks like
faded, washed
somebody
out.
set it. Looks like yeah. It looks like somebody set out in the sun for a couple of years. I don't know what Don's talking. He says, "Oh, KX3 705." Oh,
Probably the radios that he has that we
that's
forgot to
probably
mention.
other radios he has. Yeah. I don't. Does he have a 705? Yeah, I think he does.
He does, but he doesn't like it.
I like it, but I don't know. To me, everybody talks about Yesus being hard, but when you come up on Yesus, they're not hard. To me,
Yeah,
now
it's a different
and
language.
TO can probably I when I do FT8 on a 705, I cannot get the thing back into upper sideband or lower sideband. It never goes to where if it's supposed to be upper, it goes to lower. I don't know how to fix that on the 705 on my 710. I just push whichever one I want. It has both. There's got to be a way to do it, and I just don't understand the 705 for that. Do you?
So the 705, when you switch it out of data mode, like so
Mm-hmm.
you push the mode that it's currently in. It says data, you push it, it gives you like six choices: SSB, FM, RIDI, DV,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Your instinct in your brain is, I want to go to SSB, I'm going to push the SSB mode. No,
Right.
it doesn't take it out of that doesn't take it out of data. It just switches which side you're on for data. You have to hit the data button to take it out of data mode. So
Oh, well, that's
every
easy.
other time, if you're in SSB and you want to go to RIDI, you hit SSB, you tap RIDI. If you're in data and you want to go to SSB, you hit data and you tap data. It doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm doing wrong because in the Asus, basically you just hit whatever band. If you want upper sideband, you hit upper sideband. At least the two. I've done it. My 991 and the 710. That's the way they work. I don't even go to data mode. To tell you the truth, I just click it in. I just
Ape's here.
start it up.
Guess he's got some
Ape,
internet. He's got to upload his security camera footage. He's doing a show tomorrow. What's he doing a show on?
we are doing a show. Yeah, he and I are doing a show tomorrow. We're doing off center fed. Remember I mentioned we're working on off center fed. Guess who's been looking into them? Me and Ape. We've
Yep.
Ape and I we don't bore Jim and Tio sometimes with what we're working on.
Well, the problem
Tio
is that
more,
Ape likes to argue. So it's good
yeah.
that you
Tio
keep that private.
and Tio does like the antenna stuff. It bores Jim, unless we're talking CBs. Then
Well,
now he's into CB antennas. Believe me.
anything anything that involves taking Jim outside bores him. I don't want to
Yeah,
talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
Well, and he has been pretty good since Poseidon came out. He built his own. He's like, we're getting that bug into him finally. Ape, we told him about your secret mission and the HT factory, finding out how they mess them up. So you'll have to video soon. So yeah, so Ape and I talked. So tomorrow we're going to do we're going to talk about off center fed dipoles, and they're off center fed dipoles are kind of cool because they're multi-banded,
I love them.
and
They just work.
you know what I talk to a lot of people on those a lot of times. I've really never I've used one time for a while, and I was having problems with it, and I think I know why. I think I was getting feedback into my amp. I was using my little. In fact, I need to do a review on that. It's an amplifier you can't buy unless you find it used,
Oh, I got a couple of them.
but
They're fun to
but
play with.
a really good little amplifier by what's the company? It's I'll think of it in a second. They were really. I mean, you open the thing up, and you open up, and I'm not knocking on MFJ, but the components in that thing compared to an MFJ, there's just way more stuff. But it had a lot of protection. my MFJ, my AL80B. If my knob's on 20 and I'm putting it on, I'm on 40, it won't let me do anything. So it does have protection also, because I have done that. So Ape, they did let Ape back. It looks like he's back in the country. Well, I guess he doesn't have to be in the country, back
He's
in the
in
country for that.
sovereign land with diplomatic immunity right now.
Yeah. So an off-center fed. Here we go. Push to its limits is called an end-fed halfway.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. I bet you the offset. I bet you the off-center fed is a little bit higher on everything, but it's hard to beat an end-fed halfway throwing that thing up for a quick day.
Oh,
Brojet, Ape says. Oh, it's 45. Come on, we're trying not to go there. He's doing better. Any other questions? Anybody got a question or? Oh, what is this? Ape's good.
oh, that's weird.
What did you do?
Hi, everybody. I'm in here. I don't
Oh,
know.
I heard it pop up. I thought maybe Ape showed up or something all of a sudden, but now you're frozen, it looks like. You're
Yeah.
still there? It's just me. Hey, guys. Welcome to the show. Sorry we were late today. I hit the button twice. So Tio must be having technical difficulties. And I will try to watch, let's see, Gary. Let's see what Gary has to say. People confuse off-center fed with Windows as far as operation.
All right. I went to clean some dust off of my phone screen, and StreamYard went crazy.
Oh, the other night when I just popped out just before the show, I touched the cable on my that goes to my camera, and it just froze me. So I don't touch anything anymore.
If you guys want job security, get into technology, because technology is always broken 100% of the time.
Okay, so Don wanted to let us know what he has. He says, I have a 705, a KX3, a G90, a 6100, MCHF. I think that's that weird, that's that Chinese SDR, a 7100, a 7000, an 891, an 857D, FTDX10, a 101D, a Kenwood 450, an Anon, a Flex, a Sun SDR, and a Hermes Light 2. That's it? That's all you got, John? That's all you got to offer?
And he's only saying this because he's moving now, and so you guys can't go grab him.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, those aren't HT. None of those are HTs, and I'm sure he's got a ton of those too. Maybe
he doesn't believe in
HTs. Maybe
he doesn't believe in them. He says HTs are QRP radios for technicians.
Yeah,
and he's right.
Wow. So that's what he has, and Don's moving, and I think he bought some property. I don't want to put out too much out there. So I got a feeling Don's going to put up a tower now because he's been like complaining about my tower for years now. Well, Chuck has a tower. Just put one up, dude. Nothing to it but to do it, right?
Right.
So he'll probably have it. I don't know if he's going to stick with that hex beam. I don't know, man. Hope any guys in Texas right now. Hope that none of you guys are having the problems with the floods. I saw that last night on the news.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it rained that much in Texas. Tell you the truth, I think of Texas as an old western where it's all dry and hot, and I guess it's not all that way.
Well, Texas is huge. They have every climate in Texas.
They're like California pushed into a big circle. So I'm sure they have a lot of climates. Just like Arizona has different climates. I think of Arizona as the high desert type stuff, and then they have forest areas too. So I hope anybody's having problems with the floods. I hope you guys do well. Right. How that goes. I've dealt with the floods before here too. We used to for a while there. We used to go up to Napa, which is an hour from my house, or roughly, and we'd have to go up there for flooding and stuff. They would always which was I forget the Russian River would flood, and the Napa River would flood. So a lot of flooding up there when it rains a lot. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I did check in with Jason last night, and he said he wasn't having any flooding. And I don't know where Frank was last night. It sounds like he was out and about someplace. Yeah, we have to worry about the sunscreen here most of the time. Well, I think we're getting about that time there, T.O. I know you want to get into that. Well, you probably don't want to get into that. You bring raincoat for the Hamfest?
Nope, no
Or
raincoat. I'm gonna run straight indoors. It's indoors.
Oh, it's indoors. Oh, that's good.
It's
That's
indoors.
so it'll still happen, and that's good. That's a good deal. I like the indoor stuff. Depending on where you're at, that was a nice thing at Huntsville. It was indoors. I was actually, me and Dennis were in the same place. We just walked air conditioned to air conditioning. But I do like outside. Dayton's going to be fun this year. So if you guys make sure you come up and say hi if you see us in Dayton, don't be shy. I'm the shy guy, so hopefully you guys had fun today. We're going to hit the button here. Thanks for coming, and hope to catch you guys on the airways, as I will usually say. Later, everybody.
All right.